What's up, you beautiful, blessed boys and girls? Welcome to the channel. This is Tyler Tote. So every now and then a big tweet will come off, especially from somebody I admire or follow, and it'll really get me thinking. That definitely happened. I'm going to read a tweet here from Alex Hormozi, who's a guy that, to be honest, I really look up to, respect, admire. What the guy's done in business, absolutely insane. What he's done with his body, absolutely insane. And he's a great dude from all accounts. I know people who have personally taken a lot of his courses and things like that. The return is always insane. I think this guy's just a really great human being. Here's the tweet he put out. It says, "At your funeral, friends and family will argue over who gets your belongings. People will talk about the food in the venue. Your life will be summarized in 2 or 3 paragraphs. Conversations will shift from your life to their lives. Your friends will drive away thinking about what's next on their to-do list. Some people won't be able to make it because something came up. And most of the people you know today won't even be there. You're gonna die. People will move on in weeks, not years. Do what you want." Now, again, I'm going to preface this by saying I really do admire Alex in a lot of regards. I think a lot of the content he puts out is amazing. This is one that just really, really hit hard because I sort of have lived where he lives. And I think I could shed a little light. And if I had the opportunity to ask him a lot of questions, I think this could be very beneficial for all of us to see. So first off, if you don't know Alex Hormozi, this guy's worth, I think, several hundred million at this point. He has founded gyms and then went to acquisition.com and just keeps building. And it's really cool, to be honest. He's documenting his journey to becoming a billionaire. And that's something he's dedicated a lot of his life to, a lot of his energy. He's really well known for being like incredibly jacked and one of the most probably handsome and jacked dudes on the planet. He's married to his awesome wife, Layla, who also puts out great content, and they seem to have a fantastic marriage. He lives here in Vegas, and I've actually come across several people that personally know him and always have said, dude, he's super kind, super great guy, super helpful. I've actually never heard a bad word about him. And so when I saw this tweet, it really hit something in me. And I thought, if here's this guy, Alex Hormozi, who is going, he'll be a billionaire. I'd bet everything I have on it. This guy doesn't know how to lose, right? There's some people like that. And so he'll be a billionaire. He's already worth hundreds of millions. He's got all the wealth he could ever spend in the world. He's got a great relationship and probably a good circle of people around him and successful, thriving businesses. He helps a lot of people. I'm certain he hangs in circles with other super important people and has that status and sort of fame on a pretty cool level. I would assume he drives really nice cars and lives in really nice homes. And from the outside looking in, every single human being would probably look at this guy and say, he's rich, he's got everything. What more could you ask for? And when I read a tweet like this, "You're gonna die, people will move on in weeks, not years, do what you want. Most people won't be there." It really redefines something that was really big in my life. And I'll never forget being like 27, 28, and just really starting to think about these things. I had a unique experience where I went to college, ended up dropping out at 20 because I started making six figures and pretty good six figures playing poker, online poker. I had a really good brain for this. I studied and worked really hard and ended up making 7 figures at poker. But I remember getting to a point where I said, dude, I drive a really nice Mercedes. I live in like a ridiculous house. In fact, custom square built like some stupid 6,000 square foot house when I was like 25 years old, right? On a golf course and had, all the toys you could ever imagine, traveled all over the world, had a great group of friends. And I remember just still saying to people, like, I have this hole in me, man. It's always like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And he alluded to that to-do list. And I feel like that's how most people live. Well, when I get up to this mountain, then I'll be happy. When I get up to here, then I'll be happy. For him, it's like the billion. When I hit the billion, then. And I got bad news for anybody who's chasing that next thing. If you're not happy where you are now, you won't be happy. And, I mean this very respectfully, but I genuinely believe, and I've done so much. I remember getting to that spot at 27, 28, and a really wise friend of mine, I talk about him on the channel a lot, Eddie Lowen, just challenged me and said, Ty, I think you're a smart guy. Study the world. Why do you think we're here? Think about bigger things. He's right. Alex is right. We're all going to die one day. What do you think the purpose is? Was there just an explosion 30 million years ago? And by the way, where did the things come from that exploded? And how do explosions make order? And all these things. And then now we just get this life and we're here 70, 80, 90 years. We die. No one cares. We're dust in the wind. And nothing you do really matters at all if you kind of look at it from that. And that is a super depressing frame. And I think a lot of humans get there and we chase these things we think are going to make us happy. But I have this saying now, I'm like, there's one hole in us that wealth, fame, status, relationships, all the toys in the world that can't fill. And I truly believe that deep personal faith fills that. And so, if you have this sort of agnostic or atheist view and you say, well, what's the point of all this? It would depress me too. And so, I would challenge Alex. I would challenge if you're watching this and you're kind of like, well, man, maybe I'm successful and these things I thought would make me happy haven't. I've gotten a massive, great opportunity over the last 5 years to coach a lot of super high achievers. And I will never forget this changed my life. I talk about it a lot. It was about 2.5 years ago. Hopped on a coaching call with a legit billionaire. And within 10 minutes of me asking him some questions, I'll never forget he said this: I'm the most unhappy, ungrateful, and stressed out guy on planet Earth. And I'm like, holy cow, man. And it hit me. Everything we're taught and programmed from a young age to chase and get doesn't make us happy. It doesn't give us that peace. It doesn't fill that big hole deep inside of us that we can't fill, no matter how much money, toys, status, fame, wealth, whatever those things are, they don't fill it. And so I would urge anyone out there today to just take a pause. Do what my friend Eddie Lowen challenged me to do. He said, you're a smart guy, Ty. Why do you think we're here? Do you think it's more likely that there's an intelligent designer and a creator of the universe and that we're here for a purpose and that maybe there's more to this life than just this life? Explore that. And I did. I went out and read books that were written by atheists and they tried to disprove. And then I read books the other way: Lee Strobel, Case for Christ, and a lot of these other books. And I kind of weighed these in my head and it just started to logically make sense to me. And I think the more you're curious, the more you're open to these things, and the more you do acknowledge, and this is why I love this tweet, at the end of the day, it's a powerful tweet. I might not agree with a lot of it, but you are going to die. We're all going to. And a lot of us are just so busy all the time. And especially in this age, 2025, dude, even if we have some downtime, what are we doing? We're pulling up our phone, we're notifications, busy, busy, to-do list. We're always on the go. And so I would urge you to just take a breath. Start to ask yourself some of these bigger questions. Why do I think I'm here? What's the purpose of life? Do I believe that there's a bigger purpose than just me existing here 70, 80, 90 years and dying and that's it? Just done forever? Do I think there's more after this world? What do I think? Can I start to research some of those things, improve some of those things, or start to, explore faith in those areas? Now, the other piece I'll put to this, and Alex has been real open of saying he doesn't want to have children and things like that. And, that's everybody's choice. I never would attack anybody for that. In fact, I'm way on the board of, if you don't want to be a parent, I don't want you to be a parent. It's hard work. You don't get to build businesses like he does and work 16 hours a day. And that's why I've always joked with some of the guys in my dad community that talk about Alex and say, yeah, the guy's such a grinder, this or that. And I'm like, well, if you got 3 young kids, you can't work 16 hours a day. You just can't, right? I will say, I do think there's a separate piece to this where if you choose to not have kids, and again, that's great, awesome, do you, you're going to start to view life a little different. I quote tweeted this one and referenced my grandfather, Carl Murphy. I can put a little picture up here of me and my grandfather. And, he lived 2 blocks away. The impact he had on my life, not a week goes by I don't think about Carl Murphy. Not a month goes by I don't talk about my grandfather with some family members or mention him to my children or whatever that is. He had such a profound impact on my life. So he goes with me. My grandpa passed 22 years ago. I truly believe he'll always go with me. When my children are big enough, I've already done this with my daughter who's 9, but when we're back in Illinois, I drive her around and I show her the fields my grandfather worked in and how he built this amazing thing where he started with nothing and ended up amassing so much and worked so hard for his family and provided so many opportunities. And, my grandpa, some of my first vacations were with him, just me and him. He owned a place in Florida and we went out there and we'd stay up watching TV. And I was like a high school kid and, chatting, playing cards, just talking life. The wisdom he imparted on me will go with me forever. I'm teaching that to my children. They'll teach that to their children. So this idea that, well, that's it. You live here, you die. Nobody remembers you. Nobody cares. It's over. You're just kind of dust in the wind. Man, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I believe everything you believe is a choice. And if you really break it down and peel that back, everything I believe is a choice. And even if that were to be true, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't choose to believe that because it's such a depressing frame. And if I had to guess and I had to kind of analyze, well, why does Alex work 16 hours a day? And why is he obsessed with building this and doing this? It's so he doesn't have to think about these things, right? Because it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary if you just think, well, this is it. But if you're always kind of crushing that next to do and you're crushing and you're impacting and doing great things, which again, this guy does, I think, every single day, you don't have to stop and pause and think about those things. And so I would urge you, if you're out there and you're watching this video, maybe just turn it off and take a few minutes and journal some of those questions that I posed. Maybe do some research and start to explore some faith, because again, I believe we all got a hole right inside of us. And you can make billions of dollars, you can help all the people, you can have every toy in the world, you can even have great relationships and marriages and all these things. And those are great things we should all aspire to. Again, not telling anybody how to live, not telling anybody what to do, but this was a tweet that really hit me. It hit a lot of people because as I look at it, 3 million people have viewed it, 20 some thousand have commented and quote tweeted, and there's a lot of different opinions on this. Some people are, I agree with you 100%, Alex, and so if that were me, I don't know, man. I don't know how I would get out of bed every day and press on. And I'm fairly certain for me, man, the reason that the biggest why in me is number one, I do want to be a great dad and a great husband and leave that legacy just in the same way my grandfather, my father before me. I want to build upon that. And that's important to me. But the main reason is like I want to pass from this life to the next. And here, job well done, my good and faithful servant, and that's the biggest part of my life and the biggest motivator. And so if you don't have that piece, I'm not telling you you gotta have faith exactly like mine, or I'm not a big rules and religion guy, but I do think you need to explore personal faith. And again, as sure as you're watching this, you're gonna pass from this earth one day, and you need to have some of this stuff figured out. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is just me kind of, hey, I wanted to talk on this topic. I thought it was very interesting. I would love to hear your thoughts too. Where do you land on this? Do you agree 100% with Alex? Do you fall more with me? What do you think about all this? I love chatting with smart people on big topics and deep topics like this. This is how we grow and learn. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. You go have the most blessed day. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Let's get it.